Very good afternoon. Valedictory session है, थोड़ा सा tired सा. How many days? Fourth day. Third day. There was a pre-event day. Third day means very difficult. So how do I catch your attention? How many are from non-fintech? Let's see. थोड़ा सा उधर की लाइट बढ़ा सकते हैं? Can we improve the lighting of that side? I cannot see anybody. Light is all focused here. Non-fintech, okay. Quite a few. How many of you use train for your traveling? Once in a while at least. Quite a few. Excellent. How many of you saw a video where a train is running at 180 kmph and a glass of water is there? Was it cool? कितने लोग हैं? Was it good? कितने लोगों ने देखा? Do you know? Chalo, let's have a quiz because otherwise the valedictory session is very difficult to manage. How many seconds does it take for that train, Vande Bharat, to reach 0 to 100? थोड़ा ज़्यादा ambitious है. It's a 16 coach train. बहुत लंबी है. It's not a car. Good guess. थोड़ा और guess. 8. थोड़ा और guess. अरे तुक्का तो थोड़ा सा. चलो. I'll ask another question. Bullet train. How many seconds does it take for reaching 0 to 100? 55 seconds. 55 seconds is what bullet train takes to reach 0 to 100. And Vande Bharat takes how many seconds? Now you make a guess. 52. Who said 52? खड़े हो जाइए. What's your name? Give a big round of applause for him. Cool? Why I gave this example in the beginning? I gave this example because Vande Bharat train is fully designed in India by Indian engineers, by Indian brains, fully manufactured in India by Indian engineers, by Indian brains. If we can achieve something as complex as designing a train that runs at 180 kmph without the water spilling, देखो वो ग्लास तो हिली नहीं, सारी दुनिया हिल गई. अगर वो ग्लास हिल जाती तो हम हिल जाते. That's the power of our collective brain power, our collective strength, our ability to imagine, our ability to execute, and our ability to think big. And Honorable Chris Sir is what we all call, right? पूरा नाम थोड़ा लेते, we always call him Chris Sir. I as young IT engineer used to call him Chris Sir. Mr. Padmanabhan Saab and all the friends present in this hall, that is the power that we can really channelize if we want to. And we have done in multiple industries. Industry after industry, we can become the leaders the way we became the leaders in IT industry. So what is relevant for your fintech? I would like to touch upon 3 main points. First is, what is the digital infrastructure that we are focusing on, how we are building it, how we are expanding it, because that's what every service that you build will run on, right? Second is, what is the regulatory framework that we are creating? The regulatory framework is of very, very importance, extremely high importance, because that will help you navigate the circumstances in a very proper way, systematic way, methodical way. Third, I'll talk about the social inclusion, the societal imperatives, how each and every activity that you do, how each and activity that we in the government do affects the society and what we should be looking out for. I'll take about 15 minutes to touch these 3 points, and then we can have some question answer, we can have a very interactive session. The first and foremost thing is about the digital infrastructure. You are aware that we recently did some reforms in the telecom sector. Telecom is the primary gateway to all digital services. We did some reforms, and today, as Chris sir also said, the telecom sector has now come out of the huge, large series of litigations. It has now come and it has become a stable, healthy sector, and now it's on the growth path. We completed the 5G auction, 5G spectrum auction, and we would be launching the 5G services very soon. Honorable Prime Minister will launch it in the first week of October. And unlike many other countries which took years to roll out, we target that within 2 years we should be covering a very large section of the country. That's our aim. And we are on good path to achieve that. Simultaneously, we are also doing 2 more things, which is of very important relevance for all of us in this room today. Each and every village in the country deserves to be connected, deserves to have good digital services, and then only the reach of the services that you provide in the fintech space, in edutech, in medical, so many different services that you provide, those services will be able to reach the last person of the society, the marginal sections of the society. So, we are investing close to $30 billion in reaching out to each and every village in the country, each and every hamlet in the country, each and every गांव का एक टोला, एक बस्ती, दूर दराज के गांव, चाहे पहाड़ पे हो, जंगल में हो, नदियों के पार जाना पड़े, कहीं भी जाना पड़े, we are committed कि हम फाइबर लेके जाएंगे, 4G bandwidth लेके जाएंगे और फ्यूचर में 5G bandwidth लेके जाएंगे to each and every such village. And that is what is going to provide the reach, the connectivity, the space that you need to work, and also provide opportunities for the youth of those villages to put their creative energies and make sure that they can also participate in this great digital journey that we are seeing under Prime Minister Modi ji's leadership. Whatever needs to be done to reach out to the farthest of the far places, we will do. So far, we have been able to reach about 1.5 lakh ग्राम पंचायत. आप में से कितने लोग हैं दूर दराज के गांवों से आते हैं? आई एम वन ऑफ देम. आप कौन से जगह से आते हैं, कोई बताएं पीछे से? एनीवन ऑफ यू? आप बताओ ना, कोई वॉलंटियर्स नहीं है. ओके, बताओ कहां से? शोलापुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट, राइट? शोलापुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट के कौन से पंचायत से? कोई नहीं, तेज बोल लो यार, कॉलेज में जैसे बोलते थे. वहां पे आपके इंटरनेट का फाइबर पहुंचा है और उसको दूर आसपास के गांवों में भी पहुंचाने की अब व्यवस्था होगी. What we are doing is good. Thank you. Now what we are doing is we will be creating an ecosystem of village entrepreneurs. गांव के अंदर फाइबर ले जाना है, गांव है, वहां पे रहने वाला व्यक्ति चाहिए. पानी, तूफान, रास्ते में कोई गाड़ी चल रही है, फाइबर कट गया, Lots of things can happen, right? There has to be a person living in the village to make sure that there is 99.99% availability of the fiber connectivity, right? How do we do that? Do we employ a large section of people from some place and send them there? No. What we are planning is create a whole ecosystem of village entrepreneurs. गांव में रहने वाले नौजवान की शक्ति इतनी है कि वो वाकई में वहाँ पे अच्छी सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर सकता है. Can we channelize the energies of those people, those youngsters, and make them part of the growth journey so that they become self-employed, they become entrepreneurs, and they also employ more people? That will be the model for taking fiber to the last place in the country. We have tested this model, and close to 80,000 new connections are being given every month. 80,000 connections every month. So that is the level of enthusiasm which is there, and that is the commitment of our government to make sure that fiber reaches each and every village and high speed, good quality bandwidth is available to every person in the country. That's the highway we are laying for you. 4G connectivity, fiber connectivity, and 5G rollout. These are the three things on digital infrastructure that I wanted to share with you. I'll come to the second point, which is digital regulation. Our digital regulation begins with overhauling the laws, because those are the laws which were created for a totally different era. For example, the telecom sector is today governed by a law which was enacted in 1885. How many of you were born in that? Right? Cannot even imagine. Telegraph, that is how many years? 138 years, almost 100, more than a century, right? We are still governed by a law which is 1885, another law which is 1933, third law which is 1950. So Prime Minister has given us the target that you overhaul the entire telecom regulatory setup, because telecom is the foundation of digital life. Telecom is the foundation through which fintechs, all the different innovators who are collected in this room, all of you, your primary source of digital, reaching out digital services is through telecom. So last night we uploaded the new telecom bill, Indian Telecommunication Bill 2022. So please take a look at that. See what are your concerns. Does it meet your aspirations? A very detailed explanatory note has also been published along with the bill so that you can understand it in easy language. What we are trying to do in that is, we are trying to create a framework which is a very interactive framework. It's not just government as the big regulator and the industry as the regulated, but an interactive system in which the industry's concerns are addressed by the government and government's concerns are duly taken into consideration by the industry. Why that is important? That is important because we also have to look at what is the protection of users. If users are not protected, then there will be a backlash against technology. Navigation of the wave of technology has to be very systematic. It has to be very balanced. Our societies need to be, the way our social life is, need to be properly molded into the new world that we are seeing today. So very clearly defined whose scope, what is the scope of X, what is the scope of Y, what is the scope of Z, all the stakeholders. It has been done in a very proper way. Some of the really good brains have really worked on it. So I request all of you to take a look at that and give your suggestions. There is an email ID given where you can send your suggestions. Very consultative process. It's not something that anybody is thrusting upon anybody else, right? It's a very consultative process. We uploaded a consultation paper in July and received comments, and basis those comments, this bill has been drafted. And again we are starting the consultation process where on the bill you can give your views. Next will be the Digital Data Protection Bill. Digital Personal Data Protection Bill. This has been in works for some time. Things changed during COVID, and now the new version is about to be uploaded for consultation. Again, the focus will be on consultation, focus will be on creating an environment where the scope for innovation increases, it doesn't get stymied. The space for startups grows because that's where the jobs are, that's where the youth aspirations are, that's where all of you are putting your energy in. Then there will be overhaul of the IT Act. Information Technology Act is of 2000 vintage. World has really changed in the last 22 years. So that will again be overhauled. So we are looking at 3 or 4 such legislations which will basically create a comprehensive set of legislation for the digital world. Prime Minister Modi ji has given us a clear mandate. He has given us a target that our digital regulatory framework should be globally benchmarked. When our companies and our youngsters are creating solutions that the world is taking note of, why shouldn't our regulatory framework should also be of the same order of global competitiveness, global quality, global benchmarking, where the world comes and examines our regulatory setup and says that, oh, what India has done, we should also do. That's the mandate PM has given us. And we are working on that. I'll seek all your inputs and great suggestions on this entire journey. So the first piece was digital infrastructure, second was the digital regulatory framework, and third piece is about the whole social inclusion and societal imperatives. My request to all of you is, while we are working in a tech space, we should not forget what is there, what is the change that we are bringing in the common citizen's life, in the life of the poorest of the poor, in the life of youth, in life of our daughters and sisters and mothers. What are we doing? Whatever we do, we should keep every section in mind, every section of the society in mind. There are hundreds of such examples which cause serious concern. For example, somebody getting addicted to online games, losing all the savings that that family had, and getting into real distress situation. We can say that this is a choice that we have given, we haven't forced anything. ऐसा कहना बहुत आसान है, लेकिन digital world में addiction is very easy. This is something that we have to realize. And if we don't realize, then society will have a backlash. Online gaming हो गया, serious regulation is needed. Paytm, I'm sorry not to take a word, name, but fintech payment systems में fraud की possibilities है. Somebody can lose so much money. All those things are there. So, how do we make sure that the society is in tune with the way technology is growing? Taxation के points हैं. If analog world has a taxation, why shouldn't digital world should also have that same taxation? If analog world has a particular regulation, why shouldn't digital world also have that regulation? So some of the sectors which are really causing concern in the society, we must really come forward as the industry, as a joint group. Government and industry should work together and create a solid, robust set of regulations for all these concerns. If you don't do that, it will cause so much of resentment that industry will not be able to face it tomorrow. So my request is that we should be proactive on this. Whether it is online gaming, it is crypto, it is payments, it is credit frauds which are happening day in and day out. All these sectors, which is the content, which is the quality of content which is there, the fake news, the ability of spreading fake news at a very rapid pace, all those things need to be regulated, and regulated in a very systematic way, regulated in a very robust way. It doesn't mean that we have to remove the scope for innovation. It means that we have to increase the space for good innovation, and we have to reduce the incentives for going out without considering the social imperatives in mind. I hope you will agree with this, because without your support and without your cooperation, one-sided regulation will also never work. So it has to be interactive, it has to be, we have to work together to achieve that goal. I have heard my counterparts in the world, digital ministers of really developed countries, who say that today we are worried that our societies are getting disrupted because of many of these things. It's not just our society, but societies which are very mature in terms of their economic, in terms of their income, in terms of their access to technology, in terms of their exposure to technology, in terms of their legal frameworks, they are also worried. So we have to have a conscious understanding, we have to have a clear thought process and come forward as industry that these are the things in which industry would like a regulation from the government, and these are the things in which we will do our own self-regulation, and these are the things in which we would ask the government to punish the people who are not thinking of the nation first, society first as the imperative. So I wanted to share these three things with all of you, and congratulations for organizing this 3-day conclave. This would have really given you an opportunity to network, opportunity to understand others' viewpoints, opportunity to showcase your products and services, and I hope that similar opportunities come in the future. Thank you very much.